review and technical analysis. So we're going to lump all the videos that we do every morning into one video from now on. So I will put a sort of an index in the description. So if you're just looking for one particular instrument, you can find it there. It just makes my life a bit easier than trying to format and build 4 videos at a time. Anyway, we'll start off with Forex and then we'll move along to the indexes towards the end of the video. Okay, so starting off with EURUSD. We were expecting, well, I was expecting, sort of a breakout of this area here. Now you can see we've got quite a bit of resistance here, and basically we had a rejection bar of that, and we've had quite a strong follow through at the moment. There is a bit of a trend line that we're coming up to, which is this one here, which we'll look on the lower time frames, but it does look like it's breaking. And then the other thing we probably need to account for is that this original trend line here has been tested. So that could also not bode too well. Okay, so this trend line here, you can see we've broken through. We're coming back up. I'm going to delete that one. And let's just give us a little bit of zoom so we can see the action at the moment. So move down back to test the level. So we did break above the level yesterday. Came back, tested the level. Probably was a valid short that. Moving to the downside, testing the trend line for a bit, and then breaking through. Okay, so not entirely convinced we have a situation here where we need to be shorting, and we do have quite a bit of support here to the downside. So if we do get through this area here of 112.659, then I'd want to see a retest of that area before looking for shorts. Okay, so at the moment, I think this chaos or choppy trading action is here to stay for today as well. So I'm pretty reluctant to sort of try and get into this pair today. But definitely look at next week again. We've been waiting for a breakout one way or another for, I think 5 weeks now. So this is the 6th week. One more week is not going to harm the cause. Which is pretty much another one, which I'm just going to highlight a few things here. So if you look to the left, actually you don't need to look this far to the left, but it does line up there. And I'll just use the bar here. So you can see where we turned. We turned right where price is at the moment. Well, we haven't turned yet, but there's been some profit taking. But just look to the left. You see all the tails here. You can see all the tails further to the left. So move that bar up onto that, and you'll see a lot of interaction at this area here. We obviously need to get through and test this area, and look at that on the hour. So at the moment, it does look like we've broken through and we're coming back to test. This is pretty much a fairly valid area for me to be long. What I would just be cautious of at the moment, and I've noticed this on quite a few of the pound pairs that I'm watching at the moment, there are wedges forming. Okay, this one is not as tight as some of the other wedges I've seen, but it is a wedge nevertheless. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches at the moment. You really just need 3 touches. So you exclude that one, 1, 2, 3. Wedge is a triangle pattern anyway. So that's kind of the view that I've got at the moment, is just be cautious because of the wedges. But I think the reality at the moment is we are coming back into a pretty strong area of support at the moment. We've sort of broken through, and it is sort of support, but just above that level, you see where all these tails get to here. And if I look to the left, you can see a lot of interaction in this area. Okay, a lot of areas where it's used as resistance and used as support. So that is the zone we need to be paying attention to. So a clear break above that zone and retest of that zone would definitely validate some really decent longs. Now, if we just fine-tune the zones to the hour, let's bring this one down. There we go. And just bear in mind that we have broken above that first level there. Let's just get some zoom in. We did get an hourly close above it. We've come back. So I'm inclined to believe that we have a potential breakout here. Okay, so for me, this area here is a valid long, a fairly big stop loss. We need to have a stop below here, which is a 750 odd point stop loss. But what may transpire is if you start seeing some decent price action here, and I'm going to zoom in even more here just to highlight my points right now. So you can see this is a bit of a flag forming. You've got the strong move up, bit of a flag forming here. So in normal circumstances, I would be tempted to take that long with a tight stop right below here. Okay, so that basically means if I jumped in there, I'd be 160 points. My stop would be 160 points. Okay, I say normal circumstances because I'd only do that during the European or US sessions, or European US session, just as the US opens. I'm not really interested in it right now with the Asian session, but that is a pair to be watching. Similar scenario here. We have, I'm just going to use this area here to highlight. So you can see if I put the cursor here on the sort of on these swing lows here, you can see we touched it. Okay, we sort of turn right over there. There is another area of congestion here, which we've also rejected. And if we come further down, you're going to find we're coming up to another area right now, which is also fairly strong. Okay, so I'm just going to come down to the hour here, because this is one of two things. We're either coming back to test this area, okay, or alternatively, we are setting up for a trend change. Now, if we come back to the 8 hour, you'll see not so much a wedge pattern, but definitely I suppose you could argue that that is a wedge. And correction, it is a wedge, and it's a wedge breakout. Just double check that. Yep. Okay, so there was our original trend line. We're getting a wedge breakout. So we have rejected this type of level pretty convincingly on the 8 hour. And if we come down to the hour, you can see pretty much a trend line break or wedge breakout. So kind of confusing on the pound pairs. So it was looking like we were having breakouts to the upside, and it was looking like we were starting to trend and change direction. But at this stage, what we're seeing right now is completely the opposite. So I'm going to use this level further down here, because that is my area, which is basically a retest. So if we get a rally back and retest, then there is a short on offer here. I would like to see us take this level out first, though. So 134,500, or was that 600? Sorry, 134,600. If we can take that level out and come back onto that level and test it, you can see how strong the zone is at the moment. So we break through here, we come back and test that area. That would be a valid area for shorts for me. However, just bear in mind what may be transpiring at the moment is this kind of thing. So I'm not going to get it exact, but you'll see what I mean. So basically, it could be just forming a channel. Okay, and that channel could also be basically off that level there. So we could come back to test the major breakout, and I'm back on the 8 down. The major breakout is all the way down here. Okay, so that would be 134098. Okay, either way, if we do get through this level, there's probably a short to this area here and then a long. Trend is up at the moment. This is probably just a pullback as far as I'm concerned right now if I look at things. Okay, but it is worth watching just to see there's trades either way. So yeah, pull back up into this area here and we start rejecting it. That is a short targeting this zone, a break through this zone and a pull back into it and we start turning, that's a valid short down to this area here, where I'd be looking to see what transpires and possibly just look at an opportunity to buy into the market again. Okay, so that is British pound, Japanese yen. A fairly decent trade yesterday. I did give it to you on the Telegram channel, but this is another one where it is really looking like we have a wedge here. Okay, really looking like we have a wedge, and trend is up or has been up. If you look at this, okay, overall the trend has been up. It's been a bit messy. This is sort of pulling back. What's it pulling back into? We have a fairly strong area of support right where we are at the moment, and I can drop it down ever so slightly onto these tails here as well. And let's just zoom in. You see what I'm talking about here. You can see tails, 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 tails. Okay, so that's a fairly strong zone that we're in at the moment, and price action is making higher lows at the moment. So it does look like, if you look at the hour, a bit of a messy, choppy scenario at the moment, but this is probably one for the London breakout strategy today. So those of you who don't know what the London breakout strategy is, take the first 7 hours from when the market opened and draw a range around that, and that is your range. So whichever way it breaks out is the direction you're going to change. You're going to trade, and then the target, your first target, is the height of that range. So right now that's pretty much a very tight range on a level. Okay, there it is there. So it's a very tight range on a level inside a wedge, with a couple of, let's not call it bullish price action. I'm just going to do that, and that. It's not quite bullish price action, it's a confused price action, but we do have an inside bar here going into the close yesterday, and then this morning has been very subdued with the range bars, pin bars, inside bars. There's a whole lot going on here, which is just bubbling for some kind of a move, either down or up. Now, I'm just going to come to the weekly quickly, because one thing that we need to bear in mind here, if we just get rid of those two, and that one. Okay, so big move down, big move up, 2-bar pullback. Still technically making higher highs, and what I want to do here is this. Okay, so we're below the 61.8 at the moment on the weekly, coming up into a fairly strong area here. So I'll be watching this really keenly. These two levels that I've given you here, so that's 089540 and 089317. Watching that very keenly, because I have a feeling you're going to have a bounce out of this area. What's probably going to transpire is you're going to get a breakout to get the range target to the bottom, and maybe a little bit extended beyond that today, and then we're probably going to find some support somewhere around here and for a move back the upside. Okay, so that's what I'm basically watching for. There would be a bit of a breakout to the downside, and I think we're going to find some support here, and we'll have to see if this wedge plays out. But that's kind of what I can see transpiring right now. Right, last currency pair is the pound US dollar. So a couple of things transpiring here as well. Pretty similar to most of the pound pairs at the moment. We've had this move up, and we've got these wedges all over the place. In this case, it's more of a channel. But ultimately, we do have some structure coming up, and the structure, if you look at these two tails here, broke above it, came down, rejected it there, and we've rejected it again. So I would anticipate a move back down to the bottom of this range, or sorry, channel. And if you look further down, there is a lot of support to be found here. Okay, so put it on top of this swing high here. So this breakout here of 125353 has not been tested, and that is the neckline of this double bottom. Or if you got Bollingers on, that would be a Bollinger W pattern there. And that measured move is pretty much a break to the upside. So I don't know if you're picking up the trend here. Different pound pairs are offering different setups at the moment, which is always worrying if they're not all going in the same direction. But anyway, I think trick to this, just keep to the lower time frames. Okay, so it is actually a wedge. There we go. There it is there. So that is pretty much a wedge. We're on the bottom of the wedge at the moment, coming into this area here. I'm going to use another level here. So we're coming into this area of support at the moment. So I'm going to ignore the wedge for a bit. Let's see what happens in this area here. 1, 2, 5, 6, 4, 7. If we can find some support in here, there's a good opportunity for a move back to the upside. Now, I'm going to do this because there is another wedge. Okay, so I want to pay attention to the smaller patterns rather than the big pattern at the moment. And that to me is coming back into an area for support. Not quite there yet. I want to see us get a little bit lower. 1, 2, 5, 6, 4, 7 for an opportunity to buy it, to test these highs again. And pretty much a stop below this area here of 1, 2, 5, 3, 5, 3. I think that would be a fairly decent trade. Is for Wall Street, Dow Jones. So there's nothing really going on here. We've had big up, big down, up, down yesterday, and we're busy moving to the downside again. The only place that I can find decent support on the daily is all the way down here, and that is at 24,894. So that is an area that I'd be looking at. We have battled to get through this zone here, which is 26,432. So that to me at the moment is pretty much, sorry, 26,452. That at the moment is pretty much the range that we're trading in. So if we just start drilling down here, you can see pretty clear as mud that we're going nowhere. Pretty much sideways, been sideways for quite a while. I think this double bottom here is null and void at the moment. It's too far in the future. I mean, that's too far in the past to be worrying about that. This one here is getting close to that scenario as well. Now, I think the interesting thing that you'll find now is off these two levels, we're probably hovering at the 50% mark. Yeah, there we go, 50%. So pretty much a range. And you don't want to be trading the range in this area here, but based on this price action right now, I think if we come down to lower time frames, you'll probably see opportunities to sell will be here. So we had the gap up, we've moved down, had the big sell-off yesterday, came back to test the level. Where's the level? There's the level there. So that was a valid short entry right there. Right now in the hour, the trend has changed to the downside, so there are probably going to be some shorts on offer. And I'll just wait for the European Open just to see what transpires. But you probably find short down to a level, and I wouldn't go all the way for that bottom area there. I'd basically target this swing low here of 25,132. Okay, so short scalp, tight stop loss down to this area, and then down the bottom here, I'd be looking for opportunity to buy again. So this is a range. I don't like trading the ranges, but it is a 1,400 point range. So I think it's fairly safe to say that you can pretty much find some decent opportunities there to be trading. If you just look at the 4 hour, just look at all these tails up and down. That's just an indication of pure confusion. Okay, so I think for me at the moment, this is a valid this was a valid short entry. I think if you're not in it now, it's pointless chasing it. You need to wait for the next setup, because this one you'd be able to put your stop to entry already. Okay, and if we just get down to 15, so we can just show you what I mean there. Move up there. So there was an entry going into the close, and then there's been an entry early this morning again. Okay, so yeah, I'd be waiting for the next setup to happen. So, if it does break through the structure here and come back and test it and start rolling further, then you've got an opportunity for shorts. And the thing is, here you're probably going to have a 150 point stop loss for 400 point gain. Okay, so that's kind of my view on the Dow Jones. We are range bound, and I think it's going to stay like that because we are into earnings season now as well. So until we get through the bulk of the bigger earnings, that's what you're going to see transpire. Pretty much the same scenario here. We've got this major level here, and we're going to need a pretty strong catalyst to break through it. The problem that we have with it at the moment, I just want to make sure I've got there's two levels. So there's the one, and I want to move that one to there. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. These are my fractional levels there, and there's 3 there. That's a pretty strong level there, and that's a pretty strong level there. So the minute we start drilling down into the detail here, you'll see that we are bouncing off that level. So I'll just zoom in here. So you can see we are bouncing off this bottom level, and we're bouncing off the top level. So a similar scenario to the Dow Jones. So we are ranging at the moment, and this is just a messy range. So this, for me, it's only 190 points. It's not that easy to trade these things. And if I just put this level further down here, okay, you'll see these tails here, which are indicating which could also be the bottom of the range. Okay, so we came up, tried to break up, failed, and now we keep getting sellers off the top here. And I think that's going to continue. As I said early on, that's going to continue until we get all the earnings out the way. Well, not all the earnings, but all the big earnings. So we're looking for the banks, we're looking for the NASDAQ stocks, etc. Okay, so that's kind of going nowhere. So out of the two, the DAX and Wall Street, I'd be rather trading on the Wall Street range. I'm not interested in trading the DAX range. If you want to, no reason why you can't. You're looking to buy off the bottom, you're looking to sell off the top, and you're looking to keep really tight stop losses. So you're probably looking for entries somewhere around here, and it's a 100-point stop loss. So you're looking at a 100-point stop loss either way. So 100-point risk for basically 2-to-1 trades. Let's just say 1.5 to 1 trades. I wouldn't be looking for the full 2, because you probably find you get ambushed at all these other little levels here. Okay, so this to me is nothing that I want to be trading today. So definitely staying well away from the DAX. Yet again, I keep saying it quite often now, but I don't like trading this kind of stuff. So S&P 500, pretty much the same price action. We've fell hard, we've rallied hard, and we're now sort of stumbling. Now, I won't call it stumbling, but we're consolidating as we did there. Okay, we consolidated there, and now we are consolidating here. So again, the reality is we have earnings season upon us, and that's what we need to be paying attention to. So I just want to get these levels in there. There's the level right now, which we cannot hold, which is 3158, and we'll get back to the lower time frames here. So I want to move this forward, and let's just zoom in a bit so we can see what's happening. Okay, so this 3158, you can see pretty much we bounced off it, then we finally got above it. We used it as support, and I, for one, was looking for the longs based on that. Got a bit of a long, but then we're back below it, and then we used it as resistance. We got back above it, and then yesterday we bounced off it, and we have basically rejected that level fairly strongly. Okay, I wouldn't be too surprised to see us drift lower today, and not as clear as on the Dow, with the Dow Jones, where you've got a very clear channel in play. With the S&P, because you've got a lot of the NASDAQ stocks in, and NASDAQ is at an all-time high, we're a little bit more lofty at the moment. So we've had trendline breaks as well. There's a trendline break here. I'll take that one. Okay, so there was a trendline break, rejection, and then down. So I think you're going to have some opportunities for shorts, but I'd be reluctant on the S&P to short anything. The Dow's a different story because it's clearly in a clearly defined range, so you'll be able to find longs and shorts there. But on the S&P, there's not much of a clearly defined range. What there is a clearly defined megaphone. So there's my up trend line, here's my down trend line, and you can see prices just bouncing between the two. So that is a fairly clear megaphone. In the context of price action we see here, it's not clear that that is a consolidation for a move up or down. It's really just a consolidation. And I'm just going to add one more line here just to confuse everybody even more. There is a megaphone pointing to the downside, which is a consolidation for the original move up. Okay, but I'm just going to ignore that one for now, because this purely, what you can see here is confusion. The gap did close yesterday. Buyers did come off the gap to come and test this breakout, which is this level here, 3158. So for as long as 3158 holds, for as long as price is below that, I think the opportunity to trade long is not really there. If we can get above it and test it again, that would give us the opportunity for the longs. So I think this picture that we see here is very similar to the DAX right now. And that is, you're going to need to be patient and wait for something to transpire. Okay, coming to the hour, you can see where the buyers are coming in. And if I just do that, it's there. So you can see what I'm doing here. There was used as resistance, used as resistance, used as support there, used as support there. So let's just fix that as a level to the downside. So that's 3120. And 3120, 3123 was also a very big, or is also a very big weekly level. So that's kind of what I would be looking at. And then this one to the top, that trend line I want. This trend line we don't really need. Just delete that. And that's my picture. Okay, so basically looking for opportunities to buy off the bottom and looking for opportunities to sell in the zone that we're in at the moment. So it could be worthwhile to see what happens in the European session. If you get back in this area and we start rejecting it, then that would be a decent area for a short. And what you'd be wanting to do is give a pretty tight stop loss, about 100-point stop loss at least, and looking for this level down here, 3120. Though it's not a massive range, 370 points, but I think that's where we're going to muck around for the rest of the week. And I just want to just highlight what the weekly bar looks like at the moment, and you can see pretty much nothing. Indecisive range bar at a weekly level. Okay. You can see here's my weekly level that I'm talking about there. Well, it's actually a daily level, not a weekly level. You can see there it is there. Okay. And there it is there. And there it is. There's the top level. So that's pretty much the daily level. I think we can actually add that one in. You see tails, 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 tails. And I don't think it goes further back than that. That's 3095. And you can see it being well respected as well. Okay, I'm just going to finish off in the 15 minutes here just to see anything transpiring. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Probably looking for shorts off here. It is Friday. You're going to see some profit taking. Not much in the line of results today either. So that's kind of my view on S&P at the moment. If we do get above this level, 3158, and we start holding it properly, we get this kind of price action, but then I'll be looking for a break above the the highest point with a stop below there before I get into it. I'm not really going to just jump in when you see this kind of stuff, because this is what will happen. It'll burn you. Okay. So yeah, and then the other thing is on this is what you should be able to do is just trade the 15-minute chart. You can see where your levels are on the 15-minute chart. You can see there's a level coming up right now where we're trying to break through. Probably break through that, come and test these lows, and bounce around here, back up. And so there are scalping opportunities here if you've got time today. And that's that for the S&P. And lastly, I just want to have a quick look at the Eurostock 50. I think there is something to be said here. And the Eurostock, if you look at this, we have a pretty well-defined wedge, and we are flirting with the bottom side of that wedge. So a lot clearer than what you see on the DAX, but this is, in my view anyway, if we're breaking through where price is right now, you see the swing low there. You can see we've used this area as support quite a few times. But if this level, or actually a zone, I just want to put that one in there as well. So if that zone gives way, and you can see the more I go back in the past, you can see how it has been respected. Okay. So if that zone gives, and you can see we've pretty much been choppy inside there, trying to get above it. We got above it. And now you see the bulls are going to be trying to find some support here. They got a bit of support, but look what's happening with price at the moment. Okay, and if you just look at the left, to the left in the 3 hour, you can see how choppy this has been in that zone. And I'm inclined to believe if we get below this area here, so the upper side of it is 3265, and the downside of this is 3214. So if we get below this zone and we start bumping our head above the top and moving to the downside, I think we have a pretty big short brewing on the Euro stocks at the moment. So that does give us some context to some of the other global markets at the moment. But yeah, I think we're really going to have to wait and see. With earnings season, we're going to have to wait and see what the earnings are. You know, if we get some really bad earnings, plus we get some more negative news around the virus, then I think some things may start changing, and whether the federal banks and the Federal Reserve Bank and the central banks of Europe are going to be able to stem the slide is another question and discussion completely. So I think just need to be patient. I think with everything that's on the chart, on my charts today, patience is key. You may not get any opportunities today, and you may not get more opportunities next week, but you are going to get an opportunity very shortly for some decent trend trades coming into play. But for now, we just got to watch those levels, trade off a level, and take it from there. Okay, so this one's very interesting. If we do break below this area here, so this 3265, break down, come back and test it, I would be tempted to continue with this short-term trend at the downside, pretty much until at least 3214, after which I'd take profit and wait to see what transpires. We get through 3214, drop, come back and test, I'd be inclined to start building a short position here. Okay, so this is a pretty textbook view of a wedge. Okay, this is textbook structure, this. And the textbook measured move is going to be something like that, which pretty much is going to come and test the previous breakout here. Okay, and that is 3023. But it's still a long way from playing out, so don't just go and jump in for the sake of jumping in because I said it's looking like a wedge. Wait for the confirmation, and you can pick that confirmation up off the hour. And bear in mind, there's two levels to pay attention to, because it could be an ambush going into a channel and then get you stopped out. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's it for me this morning. Hope the new format helps everybody. It does certainly help me. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We do this every morning, and we do a Sunday overview as well for the week. Anyway, hope it helps, and we'll catch you guys later. Cheers for now.